Hello, scholars in Mrs. Helverson's reading class and in my reading class. You're going to see me over the next few reading lessons as we let Mrs. Storr get settled in as she works in with Mrs. Helverson's class while Mrs. Helverson is on leave. We are today back in the Blue Reading Mastery book. We're going to be doing a group of stories in this booklet. So you'll want to take a moment, pause, get this booklet if you don't have it, or this book if you don't have it right now, and we're going to lesson 24. So we're jumping past a story about Umu and Ulak. If you would like to read that on your own, you sure can. But we are going to be starting at lesson 24. All right, now that you're at lesson 24, touching the vocabulary words at the top of the page. Column 1. All the words in column 1 have more than one syllable. The first syllable of each word is underlined. Word 1, what's the first syllable? Right, floor. What's the whole word? Florida. Word 2, just the first syllable? Storm. What's the whole word? Stormy. Word 3, first syllable? Good, warn. Whole word? Right, warning. Word 4 is a name. That first underlined part is car. What's the whole word? Good, Carla. Carla is a character you will meet in today's story. Word 5, just the underlined part. Good, X. What's the whole word? Explaining. Excellent. Scholars, let's do column 1 the quick way. Everybody ready? Starting at the top. We're going to do it together. Get ready on my snap. Florida. Stormy. Warning. Carla. Explaining. I hope you did it with me and didn't try to race me. Remember, we're reading it the quick way, but we want to read it together. Column 2. All the words in column 2 are proper nouns. They name specific places or specific people. Number 1, those words are Andros Island. What words? Good. Andros Island is an island that is close to Florida. Number 2, what words? Yes, Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is an area in the Atlantic Ocean where sometimes people think strange things have happened to ships. Number 3 is the name of an ocean and was recently a bonus word in spelling. What's word 3? Yes, Atlantic Ocean. Word 4, it's a name. The name is Edna Parker. What name? Good, Edna Parker. We're going to meet Edna Parker soon as well. Here we go, scholars. All 4 of these words in column 2 the quick way. Ready? Let's do it together on my snap. Andros Island, Bermuda Triangle, Atlantic Ocean, Edna Parker. Good work, scholars. Column 3. Word 1 is Mesozoic. What word? Yes, Mesozoic. Mesozoic was an area or era of time. If you've heard of the Jurassic era, the Mesozoic era. Word 2 is armor. What word? Good, armor. Word 3 and word 4 are the names of dinosaurs. 3 is Triceratops. What word? Yes. Word 4 is Tyrannosaurus. What word? Right. Word 5 is exciting. Right? It's very exciting to have Mr. Long as your teacher today in reading and to be back in our Blue Reading Mastery book. Word 5 again is exciting. Word 6 is squawking. What word? Squawking. Very good. Scholars, let's do that column the quick way. Back to the top of column 3. All together, here we go. When I touch my nose. Ready? Mesozoic, armor, Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus, exciting, squawking. All right, scholars, part B in our textbook. If you need to pause for a moment and take a breath, you can. If you want to practice those vocabulary words more, you can pause and do that. But if you're ready, we're moving on to part B. So we're going to start a new story today. But first, an information passage that's going to give us some facts about dinosaurs. Everybody, touch the title. All together, what's the title? Dinosaurs of the Mesozoic. Good. Now, readers, I'm going to stop and ask a couple of questions perhaps along the way, or give you some instructions. I'm expecting you to answer those questions or follow those instructions while you're at home. Here we go. Follow along, please. You've read about the Mesozoic. What kind of animals lived in the Mesozoic? Now, scholars, we missed a little bit of that when we skipped some lessons. So, the animals that lived in the Mesozoic era are dinosaurs. So, what's the answer to that question? Right, dinosaurs. The picture shows two of the most important dinosaurs that lived in the Mesozoic. The huge killer that lived late in the Mesozoic is named Tyrannosaurus. Let's say that name together. Ready? Good, Tyrannosaurus. Tyrannosaurus was about 20 feet tall, twice as tall as an elephant. Touch the picture of the Tyrannosaurus. Thank you. The dinosaur with the horns and the armor is named Triceratops. Let's say that name. Ready? Excellent. Now touch the picture of the Triceratops. Tyrannosaurus did not have an easy time killing Triceratops. Why not? Pause for a moment and think about that if you need to. Did your answer relate to the 3 horns that the Triceratops has? Or perhaps the armor that it has? Right. Scholars, touch Tyrannosaurus one more time. Now, touch Triceratops one more time. You want to make sure you're remembering the difference between those two dinosaurs. All right. Scholars, I'm going to have you pause for a moment. I want you to read that information passage out loud to yourself or to an adult or pet nearby. Then press play again. All right, we are at part C in our textbook, the story for today. The title is Edna Parker. Everybody, what's the title? Good, Edna Parker. Remember, I'm going to ask some questions along the way, so please make sure you are following along with me and answering those questions. Edna Parker was 13 years old. She had been out on her father's ship before, but this was the first time that her father, Captain Parker, let Edna bring a friend along. So everyone, who is Edna Parker's father? Oh, Toby's trying to answer. He said, Captain Parker. Is that what you all said? Has Edna ever been on her father's ship before? Oh, Toby said yes. Did you say yes? And what was going to be different about the trip this time? Think carefully. Did you say that this time she could bring a friend along? Right, that's what's different. She's never done that before. This was going to be a great trip for Edna. Scholars, are you following along with your pointer finger or a bookmark, tracking where I'm at in the reading? I sure hope so. On other trips, Edna had a problem. She became bored. There was never anything for her to do on the ship after it left the harbor. Sometimes she would sweep up or help with the meals, but most of the time she just sat around and looked over the side of the ship at the swirling water. With Carla along, Edna would have fun. And then, scholars, did you see the 3 ellipses there? Right? That ellipsis means that we are now jumping ahead in the story. So, what did we hear was Edna's problem on these trips? Yes, she became bored. Have you ever been bored before? And don't say right now during this lesson with Mr. Long. That will make me sad. Right. She often didn't have anything to do, so that was her being bored. She didn't know what to do or had nothing to do. Most of the time, you'll remember she just looked over the side of the ship, watching the swirling water. What have we learned Edna's friend is named? Yes, Carla. Good. And why would Edna have fun with Carla? Because she'd now have a friend along, right, to do something with. Then the 3 dots. So now we're jumping ahead. See if you can figure out what's happening now. Captain Parker, scholars, if you're tracking with your finger or bookmark, I'm at that first flower. Captain Parker was explaining the trip to the 2 girls. He pointed to a map of Florida and the Atlantic Ocean as he spoke. We are starting from here, he said, pointing to the tip of Florida. We are going to follow this dotted line to an island called Andros Island. So everyone, let's do that. Touch the part of Florida where the dotted line begins. That's where their ship is now. Now follow that line to Andros Island. That is where they are going. What direction are we going when we move from Florida to Andros Island? Get ready. Did you say east? We moved our finger to the east. I'm going to continue. Tracking fingers ready. Captain Parker continued. That means we will pass through a place where hundreds of ships have sunk or been lost. It's called the Bermuda Triangle. Captain Parker continued. Many sailors say the Bermuda Triangle is the most dangerous part of the ocean. Carla's face seemed to drop. Now, scholars, that doesn't mean her face actually dropped, right? Like your face can't drop off. But what that means is, like when your face drops, right? Meaning a worried look comes over your face. Can you imagine why she's feeling worried? Think about what Captain Parker just told them. I'm going to read a little part of that again and see if you can make your face drop. Like, what would that look like? Listen, right? You're getting some bad news. What's your face going to look like when it drops? That means we will pass through a place where hundreds of ships have sunk or been lost. It's called the Bermuda Triangle. Captain Parker continued. Many sailors say the Bermuda Triangle is the most dangerous part of the ocean. Did you get a dropped face? All right, I'm going to continue. Hey, Captain Parker said, and smiled. Nothing's going to happen in a big ship like this. We are very safe, and this is not the stormy season. So I just passed the other flower. Are you still tracking, scholars? So Captain Parker gave 2 reasons why he did not think this trip would be dangerous for them. Can you remember the 2 reasons? See if you can remember them. Say them out loud right now. Let's see if you're right. They're on a big ship, and it was not the stormy season. All right, let's continue. Carla asked, "Why is the Bermuda Triangle such a dangerous part of the ocean?" "Bad seas," the captain answered. "There are huge waves and storms that come up without any warning. And there are whirlpools." Edna said, "You know what whirlpools are, don't you, Carla?" "I think I know what they are," Carla replied. So let's hold on just a moment, scholars. What were the things that Captain Parker said make it dangerous? Huge waves, unexpected storms, and whirlpools. Captain Parker said, "Let me explain. Did you ever watch water that was going down the drain? Sometimes it spins around and around, and it makes the shape of an ice cream cone." "I've seen those," Carla replied. "They suck water right down the drain." "Yes," Captain Parker said. "Those are tiny whirlpools. The kind of whirlpools that you find in the Bermuda Triangle are just like those, except they are big enough to suck a ship down." Wow. Scholars, I'm going to stop there, and I want you to read the rest of the story to yourself right now. So you're going to pause in a moment, but I want you to look for 3 things while you're reading. Listen carefully. I want you to find out how far it is from Florida to Andros Island. I want you to find out how long the trip will take. And I want you to find out what the girls are supposed to stay away from. Pause, read the rest of the story, and see if you can find the answer to those 3 things. Then we'll continue. All right, let's see if you found the answers to those 3 questions. First, how far is it from Florida to Andros Island? Yes, 120 miles. How long is it going to take the ship to get there? Did you say less than a day? That would be correct. And name something that the girls are supposed to stay away from. Did you say the sides of the ship? And the lifeboats? So there's actually 2 different things they're supposed to stay away from. The sides of the ship and the lifeboats. I sure hope they can follow those rules, but it makes me think we're getting a little foreshadowing of something that may be coming up. Now, scholars, before we move to the assignment, I want you to look at that picture. It shows Captain Parker's ship. The girls and Captain Parker were in the map room during the story. Take a moment and touch the map room. Now, at the end of the story, they ran out on the deck. Touch the main deck of the ship. And now, lastly, I want you to touch a lifeboat on the ship. Good. Scholars, those places are all very important. So now, I want you to join me as we take a look at your assignment for today. All right, scholars, taking a look at your assignment in your packet today. Lesson 24. I want you to look at this little part with me. We're not going to do all of this work together, but both Mrs. Howerson and I have noticed that there are still people having trouble answering questions using words from the question. And I'm noticing again that our scoring rubric, right, part of the question is in my answer. So we want to really work on building that good habit. So question number 1, what problem do we learn Edna has had when she has been on her father's ship? So I would say we know Edna's problem is that she, and then scholars, I'm going to stop. I want you to make sure you finish that answer. Right? But that's using words from the question, right? What problem do we learn Edna has? Or maybe you want to say we learn Edna's problem is, right? Using the word learn from the question. But this is using words from the question, right? Edna, problem. So you can finish that right now by pausing and filling that in, or you can keep listening to me and then go back and fill that in when we're finished. Number 2, write about a time you have felt the same way. Probably not on a ship, though. So based on what you wrote for number 1, right, the problem she has, you're writing about a time you've had that same problem. So a time I felt that way was when, right? You're going to write an ending to that question. And of course, you want to put a period at the end of your answer, wherever your answer ends, right? If your answer ended here, put a period here. But you want to finish your sentence, right? Your answer with a period. So a time that you felt the same way she's feeling in number 1 when she normally goes on the trip or on her father's ship on these trips. Right? And then, so again, scholars, you can pause right now if you'd like and finish this question, or you can keep going with me as I talk about number 3 and then go back and finish that at the end. All right, if I'm going too quickly and you need to catch up on writing, it's okay to pause for a moment. Number 3, why does she think it won't be a problem on her next trip on her father's ship? Oh, I sense my favorite word. This. Oops, hold on. Sorry, everyone. I don't want to write it. I was going to write the word won't, but I think this time it won't be a problem. My favorite word, because. So this time it won't be a problem because blah, 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 right? Why? Going back to number 1 again, right? Her usual problem. Number 3, you're saying, why isn't that going to be a problem this time? So scholars, once you've done those 3, right, if you did questions in words from the question in your answer, like I just did, that's going to help you with this first part. And then if you answered all the questions, right, that gives you this part. Textual evidence, right? Your answer to 1 and your answer to 3 are from the book, right? You don't get to make up her problem, right? We don't know Edna's problem is that she's craving tacos from Taco Bell and there's no Taco Bell nearby on the ship, right? That's not the problem. That's not in the text. So that would not be textual evidence. So having the correct answer for 1 and 3 is providing your textual evidence. And then your text to self or text to text or text to world connection is what you wrote for number 2, right? You connecting it to your life, a time you felt that way, is your connection here. And then checking that you've capitalized, right, the beginning of your sentence, that you have punctuation at the end, right? wherever you ended this one. Do you have a period at the end? So scholars, good luck with this. Also, 2 last things. Number 1, make sure you send a photo of your assignment. It is just this 1 page. Send that, submit that to your reading teacher. And I also want you to make sure you reread today's story to someone, an adult in your family, a sibling, a pet, a favorite stuffy, but please spend a moment reading that story aloud to someone. In our time away from each other during distance learning, it's really important that you're reading aloud to build your fluency and continue to be successful as a reader. Thanks for joining me as we came back to the Blue Reading Book today, and I will see you tomorrow for another lesson. Good job, readers.